Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Heather Sells. A political showdown over a classified government memo is pitting President Trump and Republicans against Democrats and the FBI. The president and members of the House Intelligence Committee want it released, but the FBI says it has grave concerns over the memo's accuracy. Gary Lane explains.
The House Intelligence Committee, led by Chairman Devin Nunes, voted to release the classified 4-page Republican memo, but only after a review by the White House and FBI. FBI Director Christopher Wray and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein met at the White House Monday with Chief of Staff John Kelly. They expressed concerns over, quote, material omissions of fact that fundamentally impact the memo's accuracy. But moments after the State of the Union address Tuesday night, the president said he's for full disclosure.
Let's release the memo. Oh, yeah. Don't worry. 100%.
Republicans say the memo reveals abuses of government surveillance power by the FBI and Justice Department concerning secret FISA court warrants and monitoring of the 2016 Trump presidential campaign. Anytime FBI and Justice Department officials need to conduct surveillance on a foreign national, they're required by law to get approval, a warrant from the FISA court, which is the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. They have to show evidence that the warrant is needed. But questionable evidence may have been given to the FISA court for evidence to get a warrant involving surveillance of the Trump team. It was a dossier from a political group called Fusion GPS and former British intelligence agent Christopher Steele on Trump and Russia campaign collusion. Former FBI Director James Comey called the dossier salacious and unverified. Despite Comey's statement, some Trump administration officials and Republicans on Capitol Hill believe the dossier may have been presented to the FISA court to provide the basis for the government investigation of the Trump campaign and surveillance of Trump campaign meetings at the Trump Tower. Some congressional Republicans wrote the memo as a summary of intelligence information about the dossier. House Speaker Paul Ryan favors the memo's release.
There may have been malfeasance by people at the FBI. So it is our job in conducting transparent oversight of the executive branch to get to the bottom of that.
Republican Congressman Jim Jordan called the memo alarming, and Republican Representative Mark Meadows said it's troubling. He didn't expect such abuses of government surveillance power to occur in the United States of America. Some critics have likened the surveillance to KGB-style tactics from the old Soviet communist era. And in response to the FBI's objections that it has grave concerns about the GOP memo, Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes says the FBI stonewalled requests for information for nearly a year. And Democrats say the Republican memo isn't accurate. And despite all these concerns, even from members of the president's own administration, the memo could be released to the public as soon as today. President Trump believes it will be more evidence proving that his campaign was subjected to illegal wiretaps and that people at the highest levels of government worked to sabotage his campaign and presidency. Gary Lane, CBN News.
Today, the president heads to West Virginia to talk strategy with Republican lawmakers attending a retreat. When a train carrying congressmen there collided with a garbage truck in Virginia yesterday, members with medical training sprung into action to save victims. Former Army surgeon Congressman Neil Dunn says he and other lawmakers who are doctors joined other passengers who are nurses or paramedics. They jumped out of the train and broke into 3 groups to help the injured people in the truck. No one on the train was seriously injured, but a 28-year-old passenger in the truck died.
We did CPR for several minutes. Dr. Rowe gave me a look that I don't know where you teach this in medical school, but the look that this is over, Roger. There's nothing else we can do.
One lawmaker said watching his colleagues leap into action reminded him of the day Congressman Steve Scalise was shot at a baseball practice last spring. Speaker Paul Ryan said the accident reminds us how fragile life can be. President Trump will allow thousands of Syrians to stay in the U.S. over the next 18 months. The White House has extended the temporary protection status of nearly 7,000 Syrians. This protection is only for Syrians who were in the U.S. as of August 2016. Critics argue the Trump administration should be more generous and grant an extension to Syrians who arrived after 2016, but the Homeland Security Secretary says no. Syrians with a special status can stay until September 2019. And coming up, see how Jews and Christians in Israel are working together to help Syrian refugees. We'll be back with more after CBN NewsWatch after this. What would you do if your enemy needed food, clothing, and medical assistance? Would you help him? That's what Israel decided to do with its Good Neighbor project. It partnered with a Christian ministry, and together they're helping Syrians caught in the ravages of civil war. Chris Mitchell brings us this look at how Jews and Christians are working together to help Muslims.
It's called Camp Ishai, a Christian medical clinic operating inside the Israeli border under the protection of the IDF. It provides urgent medical care to Syrians caught in the middle of a 6-year civil war.
There are about 80,000 Syrians who live in the area of Camp Ishai who need medical attention. They arrive by truck at the border, then they're checked by security, then they enter into Camp Ishai, where they receive medical attention and love.
From the time they come through the gate, they become the most important people in the world. And we don't speak the language, so we have to speak the language of love.
Dawn and Sandra Tipton started Friendships, a Christian aid organization working with Israel's Good Neighbor project to help the Syrians.
It's amazing to watch the transformation in these people when they're not under the oppression of war.
In their first 2 months, they treated some 2,000 people.
We're putting in Wi-Fi and telemedicine, and when that comes in, we'll be able to treat 3 times as many because it will speed up the process.
This is where patients get checked.
Usually it's things like infections, and we had somebody with hepatitis today. There's rashes. So we do a lot of things that if they're not treated, they'll become serious. There are also war injuries and things that people come in and we can treat their infections and things. And we diagnose people that we're not able to treat, and we refer them to various outlets for further possibilities.
While incubators, birthing beds, and x-ray machines are on the way, that's not their biggest need.
Right now, we're in desperate need of people to play with the children, and doctors and nurses. That's our main need. But we need people just to come and help.
That's because Camp Ishai goes beyond medical needs.
This is what we call our distribution tent. Every day when the patients leave, they get this bag full of goodies. It includes toys and clothes. And we have an area where they can shop for clothes that they like, just select what they like.
This is a children's room. These kids, they've been in a war since they were born. They're so happy in here. This is our trampoline. Young people just love it. The adults go nuts. And then behind you we have snow cones, and we have an ice cream machine coming Wednesday.
To the Tipton's surprise, they found a great willingness in Israel to help the Syrians.
We were trying to find a way through Lebanon or Jordan to get goods into them, and it was a dead end. So we started working with our friends here in Israel.
We had no idea that we would run into such a loving friend in Israel, that they would have the same vision for helping these people as we did as Christians. So we have Jews helping Christians to help the Muslims.
After nightfall, CBN News accompanied the IDF on a mission along the Syrian border. We suited up in body armor and helmet and drove to an unspecified location. It's here, very close to the Syrian border, where Israel's Good Neighbor project delivers tons of humanitarian aid to needy Syrians nearly every night.
Today we are putting 10 tons of flour for Syrian people. You can see the tractor taking all the flour from the big truck. We are doing it each day, 7 days a week.
Major A oversees the Good Neighbor project here on the border. We've hidden his identity for his protection.
We deliver a lot of food, a lot of things for children, from toys, clinic things, all the basic food things. We deliver the things near to the fence, and they are coming and taking them.
Fighting has killed almost 500,000 people and left countless others wounded and homeless. Yet Syria maintains its stance against Israel. So why help?
this is the right thing to do, and this is what Israel country do. I love to do it. This is the best thing that happened to me in this duty.
Major A says about 250,000 Syrians live in the area that benefits from these deliveries. Does he think they'll remember the kindness when the war's over?
I really don't know, but I can hope that they remember.
And just as the Israeli support surprised the Tiptons, Major A has been surprised by the Christian help.
They are lovely people. This is the first time that I saw that a human being can be so generous and so brave and so warm and can give a lot of love. Today in the clinic, a Christian that make things happen with the Israelis, with the Jews, for the Muslims.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, along the Israeli-Syrian border.
Up next, we're sitting down with Sadie Robertson. She's sharing her faith and her mission to help women live fearlessly. Well, Sadie Robertson is well known for her captivating smile and role in the reality TV series Duck Dynasty. The show ended last year, but the 20-year-old continues to make a name for herself. She has acted in God's Not Dead 2, danced her way to first runner-up on Dancing with the Stars, and continues to inspire fans and share her faith on YouTube. Robertson also travels across the country sharing her heart and God's word to the younger generation.
We're scared of this sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice, it's a relationship. It's a walk of obedience. It's a walk of saying, God, I want to go in college and walk with you because you're the greatest thing that they have to offer.
Hey, I want to ask you, it has been less than a year since Duck Dynasty ended. How has your life changed for you?
Oh my goodness, yes, it has been a crazy year. You would think that after the show it would be a little more quiet, but I actually moved out to Nashville and started working on my own stuff that I'm super passionate about, wrote the book and did a few other things. And so it's been a little bit of a crazy year. But goodness, Duck Dynasty was a super, super fun season. But praise God that he just takes us to one thing to the other, and it's been really good since.
Well, I'm sure it's a totally different season now. Your book is Live Fearless, and to you, what does that mean? What prompted you to write about that topic?
Yeah, so it's actually super cool how it all worked out. But I used to live in a lot of fear, had a lot of anxiety, and really dealt with panic attacks, the whole 9 yards. Anything fear, I was totally living in it. And it was actually in the season that my life was very, very public. So when I was on Dancing with the Stars, whenever I started speaking on a tour called Winter Jam, whenever I was in Duck Dynasty and all these different things, I was really battling fear. And I don't feel like people were really seeing the fullness of who I was because I was so afraid and kind of insecure in that. And so as the years have gone on, off camera, I was in this process of finding freedom through fear. From fear.
I think a lot of people are really going to resonate with that because it's something so many people struggle with. What, in your case, were some of the lies that you think the enemy was telling you, feeding you, that were really driving that fear?
Yeah, there was so many things. And for me, it was actually really cool because writing the book, I was able to really go back and pinpoint that. And for me, I was a lot of control. I was afraid of the things that I didn't have any control over. For instance, Dancing with the Stars, it was all of a sudden I was having all these followers come and it was crazy and my life was changing. Control, so I was afraid, and I began to be afraid of flying because you're not in control of the airplane. And all these things that were bigger than me would make me so afraid of them. And people always say when they're not dealing with fear and anxiety, they don't really understand. They're like, well, what are you afraid of? And a lot of times you can be in literally a room and there's no fear around you, but because your mind is so consumed with fearful thoughts, it's really a mind thing. And so really finding freedom and captivating the thoughts of your mind is a huge way out of it. And so I think the enemy, it started with the big things and the big things of control, and then it really started to attack my mind. And it could be in any situation where a panic attack would spark up. And I think when you get to that point in your life, you really don't know how to get out of it because you're like, nothing's even scary and I'm afraid. But that's just an attack, and that's how it works.
You're coming off your second round of your Live Original tour. Did any part of that tour and what you experienced play a part of what you wrote in this book?
Actually, I had written the book before this second tour happened, but now after the tour, I'm like working on the next book because this tour was absolutely incredible, and we were just blown away by the response and the lives changed and everything like that. And so this year we'll go back on tour, and we're actually adding more cities, so we'll do 20 cities instead of 16. So we're excited about that. But my goodness, it's just like really awesome to see just a generation of young people, because we get a bad rep sometimes, but being on tour and actually seeing all these young people in different cities come out and just see their lives change, see these worship-filled kids, see these kids who are confident, who are ready to make a change, has been really, really cool to be a part of that.
Sadie Robertson, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
Oscar-winning actor Tom Hanks is set to play the role of beloved minister and TV icon Mr. Rogers in an upcoming film. Mr. Rogers was most known for his preschool educational series titled Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood that ran from 1968 to 2001. The new movie with Hanks is called You Are My Friend, and it will tell the story of Mr. Rogers and his friendship with journalist Tom Junod, who said Rogers taught him how to pray and transformed his life. The movie is set to release in 2019. Well, one minister wanted to do something big, and he ended up going small. He took his inspiration from the tiny house movement, where people are downsizing their homes to extremely small sizes. Ben Kennedy shows how the minister applied those ideas and takes us along for a ride.
One church is proof that big things come in small packages.
I stumbled upon the tiny house movement,
which led to this tiny chapel.
And welcome to my tiny chapel.
Reverend Bill Malbon's design comes complete with a vaulted ceiling, solid oak floors, and even Gothic windows, all in just a small space. The chapel can fit 24 people. Yes, most have to stand, as there's only 2 pews.
And I always knew that I wanted to be that old country church. You know, I wanted it to be recognizable right away.
You have a tiny chapel here that's sharing God's message in a very big way.
Yes. People love the uniqueness of this place. They love the fact that they can come inside and just feel God's presence.
And in order to share God's message nationwide,
and just let it down slowly,
he took his chapel on the road.
It's a challenge pulling anything that weighs almost 10,000 pounds.
A nearly 10,000-pound church on wheels, to be exact.
Well, first, I think they kind of do a double take. It's like, is that a house he's pulling?
Bill, if someone told you one day you're going to be driving a church across America, what would you say to that?
You're crazy.
That crazy idea has landed Reverend Malbon weddings across the country.
I think wherever the chapel goes, people are going to go, hey, that's pretty cool. It gets people thinking about something different. If this was just another RV, people go, he's in my way, why is he going so slow? But I find a little more tolerance when they realize that I'm not just pulling a tiny house behind me, but a tiny chapel.
He's pulled the chapel to Chicago, Pennsylvania, and up the East Coast, offering affordable ceremonies that actually run as little as $100.
One of the things I tell couples all the time is that I want them married to each other and not married to death.
Which is where this church rolls in to help couples tie the knot and spread the gospel 1 mile at a time.
You don't need the building. We're the church, the people of the church. But having that sacred space where people can gather and get together and share God's word, to share your ministry, is just a wonderful thing.
No doubt the tiny chapel is generating buzz right here in Virginia, with planned stops in D.C. and Maryland. For CBN News, I'm Ben Kennedy in Hanover County.
Very creative idea. And that is it for now on CBN News Watch. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues that you care about most at cbnnews.com. And do tell us what you think about the stories that you've seen right here. You can do that by emailing newswatch at cbn.com, or just talk to us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We hope that you'll join us next time. Have a great day.